Wubs and Fires by Scratch and Tommy. The party came slowly to an end, and Vinyl slowed the music down. It wasn't that she wanted to stop, but more that she had to after all that time. The medicine she'd got from Ace helped her, but now she felt pain in every muscle and was really tired. Grinning, she faced the crowd while Spitfire and Sassaflash were still dancing beside her. Alright every pony, this party will end soon. I hope you had an awesome night and enjoyed my wubs. Sure hope to see you all again the next time. Good night! She yelled, earning some angry responses at some part, but mostly an ear-hurting cheering. After the song, she stopped the music and shut the flashing lights off while Sassaflash turned on the normal lights, turning the club bright again. Spitfire was sweating just like her, and the Wonderbolt's body just shimmering in all the right places on the yellow flank to catch Vinyl's eye. No, bad Vinyl, she thought before turning to Sassaflash. Sassa, can you pack up the stuff? I'm heading down the bar with Spitfire, she said, already starting to walk down the stage. Sure, came the reply before Sassa grabbed Neon, who wanted to follow the two mares. Nope, you stay right here and help me. Giggling, Vinyl reached the bar, the Wonderbolt just behind her, and both sat down. Damn, nice party, huh? Vinyl's voice sounded raucous from all that screaming. Spitfire wasn't feeling much different and decided it would be best time now. Yup, more than nice. He thought about the contract? The white mare went silent, and Spitfire just couldn't tell what she was thinking about, but was shocked at the response she got. I'll sign it. Then she paused. Any conditions I should know about? Spitfire thought about saying nothing, but the opportunity was just too sweet not to take. Only one. With that, she unfolded her wing and grabbed the white mare gently, dragging her towards her. We'll spend some time together. I really like you, and that's the reason why I convinced every pony at the Bolts that you would do a good job. Vinyl's mind trembled, not knowing what to say and trying to focus on the mare in front of her. What was her plan? Spitfire was nice, and Vinyl indeed wanted to get to know her better. It couldn't end worse, could it? Without more thinking, Vinyl smiled. Deal. After that, she motioned for the mare behind the bar, ordering her special. Berry punched, raised an eyebrow, and pulled up 2 glasses with purple liquid. Isn't it a bit early to get drunk, even for you, Vinyl? She asked after hoofing over the glass. Ah, nope. Besides, I'm drinking with Spitfire, so don't worry, she'll handle it, came the response from Vinyl, still giggling. Berry Punch nodded before looking sadly at the Wonderbolt. You don't have any clue what you're getting yourself into. What? Came the surprised response, but Vinyl already downed her drink, looking expecting at her. The Wonderbolt grabbed the glass with her wings and brought it to her lips, testing it first. It tasted like berries and other fruits, but behind that was a heavy kick waiting, shooting through her body like electricity. She liked it. Quickly emptying her glass and turning to Vinyl, she saw that the white mare was grinning at her. Ooh, this will be fun, Spitfire. I do hope you have a strum stomach. With that, the white mare ordered another bunch of drinks, but the Wonderbolt gladly accepted them. She would do everything to spend more time with Vinyl, even just as friends. Downing her glass, she smiled to the white unicorn. I would be more concerned about yourself. I'm used to parties after shows. Strong words from you, sexy, Vinyl said before her eyes went wide. Spitfire's heart jumped, but she tried to overplay it. Drunk already, Vinyl? Real weak show. Vinyl just shook her head and ordered the blasting Brizzle from Berry, who prepared the glasses and gave her another sad look before hoofing the glasses over. They were slightly sizzling, and that, for the first time, made Spitfire a bit concerned. Seeing her hesitation, the white mare leaned over, her muzzle maybe too near her ear, and whispering, "Chicken?" It made Spitfire frown and take the glass to empty it, but at the same time Vinyl's breath on her ear made her twitch and a small shiver running down her back. On top of that, her wings pulled out on a full display with a small sound, causing her to blush as Vinyl giggled. Heh, some pony likes that, Vinyl cooed before sending another warm breath at Spitfire's ears. While the Wonderbolt slightly moaned something about unfair, the unicorn made her way to her victim's neck, breathing on some spots before planting her lips on it. That caused Spitfire to quickly down another drink, and they were both more than tipsy. A small addition of weight from Vinyl made them fall to the ground, ruining the moment. What the hell are you two doing? Sassaflash yelled before standing next to them. You better stop and go home, both of you. Both mares tried to stand up, but everything was circling around them, making them lose their orientation, which made Sassaflash sigh heavily. Okay, seems like we have to carry you out of here. Neon? She turned around, looking for the colt. I think we have to carry them home. By the way, where do you stay while you're visiting, Spitfire? Nowhere to be honest, Spitfire answered, her speech not really normal anymore. With a sigh, Sassaflash turned to Neon. Could you carry Vi with your levitation field while I carry Spitfire? Oh, and tell Berry to give us something to break their minds clear. I guess we have to drop Spitfire at Vinyl's place. She looked at both mares worriedly, although I'm not sure this is such a good idea. Leon talked with Barry before he turned back with 2 small bottles in his magical grip. Then he levitated the yellow mare onto Sassaflash's back. After taking Vinyl into his grip, floating her a bit over his head, he nodded, ready to go. They both turned to the exit with their usual baggage after saying bye to Ace and Barry, making their way to Vinyl's apartment. On the way, both drunken mares passed out, not able to think clearly anymore. "Hey, wake up, you two," a voice called for them before a splash of wetness hit their faces. Gasping and shaking, both mares jumped up, looking confused at Sassaflash. Finally you two are awake. How are you feeling?" the turquoise mare asked with a raised eyebrow. Vinyl looked around, just to see Spitfire in the same state. "Better, I guess. Thanks for bringing me and Spitfire home. Vi, it's the first time in months that you let yourself go so hard. I'll take your shift at the club tomorrow. You two rest. In case you're too drunk to remember, I'll leave a note on your door, okay?" She looked worriedly at both mares. "Sure, Sassa. We'll be fine. Thanks for the help." The white mare gave her a peck on the muzzle before the turquoise mare headed for the door and left. They were alone now. Vinyl made her way to the kitchen to make coffee, getting at least a tiny bit sober. She was stopped by a yellow wing and a small pout. "You don't want to leave the party early, do you?" came the cooed voice behind her. Turning around, Vinyl met the lustful gaze of Spitfire, and she gasped at the sight. Her wings were popped open, revealing their natural beauty, and the look on her face, so sexy, and daring her to do something bad. She was about to answer, but a nibbling on her ear made her moan, and close her mouth shut right after to stiffen it. "You like it?" a small whisper in her ear, which she could only respond to by nodding. The soft nibbling on her ear repeated and repeated before it went down, small pecks on her neck that made her shiver. While trying to return some pleasure, the yellow wings were tightening around her, keeping her in place, unable to move. However, Vinyl's half-closed eyes caught some views of the wings around her, noticing some uncared spots. In her mind, Vinyl already promised to preen Spitfire properly this night, and the thought about it made her shiver more, feeling a wet feeling around her inner thighs. "Spitfire, what are you—" She was stopped by a small bite on her neck. "Shh, no talking. Enjoy," came a whisper before the pleasure on her neck continued. Nibble after nibble, kiss after kiss, and some small bites between it. Spitfire sure knew how to do proper foreplay. But Vinyl wasn't about to let her take the lead. She wanted to have some of this cake for her own. The white mare squirmed around in the grasp, trying to return some pleasure, but the wings held tight around her. "Spitfire, you're such a tease," she complained, completely lost in her feelings. The answer was a small bite before the yellow Pegasus backed up a bit, leaving Vinyl some space to turn around and face her. Before Spitfire could say anything, she darted forward, lips pressing tight onto the Pegasus's ones, which gasped in surprise before leaning in. Pressing her tongue forward, Vinyl asked softly for permission to enter, which Spitfire eagerly granted, their tongues gently teasing each other. It seemed too short for them as they broke the kiss. "Want to take this somewhere more comfortable?" Vinyl asked, causing Spitfire's heart to jump heavily. With a nod from her, Vinyl took her hoof, leading her to the bedroom. There she motioned towards the bed, Spitfire laying down on her belly while Vinyl blushed a bit. "Do you trust me, Spitfire?" came the question that surprised the Wonderbolt, but she answered without hesitation. "I do." Vinyl approached and leaned in, her muzzle slightly brushing against her ears. "Then close your eyes and relax." Spitfire obliged, and soon she felt a hoof touching the base of her wings, making her shudder. Did Vinyl know how to take proper care of a Pegasus' wings? She would soon find out. Relaxing again, she left free hoof to the white mare, which continued, caressing the base some more. Soon she felt a muzzle at the base of her wings, carefully nibbling sensitive spots and making her moan in silence. The muzzle was removed, and Spitfire was about to complain as she felt something tickling her whole left wing, pulling a bit and stretching it out as far as it could without hurting her. She smiled and relaxed again, feeling a soft muzzle nibbling on her wing from its base to the tip. It was amazing. She felt Vinyl nestling through her feathers, soft nibbling here and there, bringing all feathers up to a perfect pattern again. While Spitfire's moans became louder, Vinyl finished the left wing, turning now to the right wing, unfolding it. Before the yellow mare could even react, she felt a strong but not painful bite on her wing base, causing her to twitch and moan without hesitation. Spitfire cracked an eye open to see Vinyl biting and nibbling on her wing, seeing her look and winking. She watched as Vinyl preened her with knowing eye and mouth, besides that trying to touch her sensitive spots every time she could. "Where did you learn to preen a Pegasus like that, Vinyl?" the Pegasus managed between some moans. "Let's just say I got some practice." "Wings done, sexy," Vinyl answered, causing Spitfire to blush a bit. Folding her wings back as well as she could, Spitfire pulled Vinyl close for a long kiss, before looking lustfully into her eyes, just to see the same look there. She nibbled on her lips, receiving a small moan for it before she pushed the unicorn on her back, causing her to yelp, surprised. Vinyl looked expectantly at her, so Spitfire leaned forward and kissed her, enjoying their locked lips. After breaking it, she kissed Vinyl's muzzle, creating a small trail down to her neck where she bit down easily. Hearing the moan now only caused her to get even wetter, her marehood already dripping slightly. The unicorn grinned and placed a hoof against her inner nethers, causing her to gasp. Biting down on her neck again, Spitfire felt the hoof circling around her labia softly. "Some pony seems like she can't wait any longer." Vinyl's words were so teasing, driving Spitfire even more insane. Quickly she bit down again before continuing her way, placing soft pecks on the unicorn's chest, licking over a few spots to receive small moans in return. She continued again, but stopped at the belly and playfully licked her belly button, causing Vinyl to look at her. "Stop teasing, please," she winced, shivering under her touch. With a smile, Spitfire continued her way, eager to oblige the pleading, and moving towards Vinyl's nethers. Her marehood was dripping and winking lustfully, just waiting for her tongue to take care of it. Spitfire gave a quick lick to check the taste, looking up surprised while smacking her lips. You're tasting like the rain clouds fresh out of the weather factory," she moaned before diving into Vinyl's marehood again. "A sweet mix of morning dew and blueberries. So delicious." Another lick marked the end of her words. The unicorn blushed at the description, but moaned at the soft licks on her marehood. Spitfire teased her, just giving small licks, and Vinyl wasn't a mare for teasing. Grabbing the Pegasus's head, she pushed her into her nethers, forcing her to work properly. "Seems like some pony can't wait," came the response, before Vinyl felt the bliss of a soft tongue touching between her labia. The tongue pushed forward slightly, as if asking for permission. Vinyl's permission contained a loud moan and a shiver. As answer, the tongue dove in, tasting her inner walls eagerly. Spitfire explored every spot, letting her tongue pleasure even the tiniest sensitive spots she found, causing Vinyl to buck her hips slightly against a wet and soft sensation inside her. Spitfire could feel that her lover was getting close, but she wasn't about to let her finish yet. Looking up, she spotted her horn, innocently untouched. A small grin wandered over her lips while the Wonderbolt planned her next step. She'd never tried it, but knew it could lead to sexual sensations for a unicorn. Vinyl in the meantime noticed the stop and whined impatiently, bucking her hips forward a bit more. "Please, Spitfire." But Spitfire was still just grinning. "Please, I'm close." "I know," came the short response before the Wonderbolt made her way up and settled down on the unicorn's body. Licking her lips, she looked into Vinyl's eyes before turning her attention towards the white horn. She leaned in and licked slowly at the base, the white mare's eyes turning back and groaning in high pleasure. Happy with the results, Spitfire licked harder, circling around the base while Vinyl placed her hooves on her flank, brushing slightly over her cutie mark. Distracted, the Wonderbolt forgot to lick for mere moments, but was soon reminded by an impatient whine under her. Smiling, she leaned in again, this time licking the horn from its base the whole trip to the tip, causing Vinyl to moan and shiver under her again. She was getting louder again, proving to be close once more. Spitfire took her chance and went over the tip, opening her mouth and slowly going down on the horn. Slowly it went deeper, the whole time being caressed by a tongue and softly sucked. The horn started to feel warm in Spitfire's muzzle as she increased the pace. Vinyl was whining and moaning under her, eyes closed in that indescribable bliss she felt, and concentrating on the feelings in her horn and marehood while holding tighter on the Wonderbolt's flank. Spitfire took the whole horn in, and Vinyl cried out, a warm sparkle of magic coming out of her horn and disappearing into the muzzle of the yellow mare. At the same time, Spitfire could feel Vinyl's marehood pushing out fluids, her orgasm making her shiver over the whole body. It took the unicorn a while to calm down, smiling happy at the Pegasus. "That was awesome," Vinyl whispered, still breathing hard. Spitfire, however, just winked before diving into the unicorn's folds again, lapping every bit of fluid up she could find, causing Vinyl to moan again. She cleaned the unicorn up before turning around, leaving herself exposed now. "Want to return the favor?" the Wonderbolt asked, with eyes half closed and her soaked folds inviting Vinyl. The unicorn wasted no time, crawling up on Spitfire and kissing her deeply, her tongue softly asking for entrance. That was granted shortly after. Her tongue went in, sliding around Spitfire's and turning into a hot fight with her. Neither one of the mares wanted to pull back, but Vinyl soon rubbed her hoof between the yellow Pegasus's rear legs and she lost the fight. Vinyl broke the kiss soon, but continued her way down the Wonderbolt's muzzle and neck, biting and nipping slightly, which rewarded her with soft moans from her victim. She stopped a short time, seemingly thinking about something, and Spitfire was just about to complain as the DJ stood up and turned before laying down again. The yellow Pegasus was in sight with Vinyl's marehood again, and it was dripping again. Before she could ask, she felt something wet and soft exploring between her labia and causing her to moan quietly. The pleasure stopped too soon, causing her to sigh and trying to see what Vinyl was doing. She only heard some lips smacking and grinned, able to imagine what Vinyl was doing. "Strawberries. And I thought you would taste like lemons," the white mare giggled before returning to work. This time pushed her tongue directly through her labia, caressing the inner walls deeply. Spitfire moaned out loudly before turning to revenge, softly nipping on the outside of the dripping labia in front of her, which instantly gave her the muffled moaning she wanted, making her own marehood vibrate. She felt Vinyl eagerly eating her out, her tongue caressing sensitive spots Spitfire hadn't known she had until the moment Vinyl pleasured them. The DJ used every sensitive spot against the Wonderbolt, causing her arousal to stack up until it was hard to keep it back. In a last effort to come together, Spitfire leaned in, pressing her muzzle against Vinyl's marehood and getting an extremely loud and high-pitched moan in return. Both mares moaned loudly, each feeling the pressure build as they neared orgasm. To Spitfire's disappointment, she came first, her liquids heavily flooding Vinyl's muzzle while groaning into her marehood. This caused Vinyl to climb over the edge as well, and Spitfire quickly covered the center, catching every bit of the sweet fluid. Breathing hard, Vinyl turned around, flipping from Spitfire on her back. "I hope you don't think we're done yet," she said with a wicked grin on her face, before hopping off the bed and landing on her shaky hooves. Vinyl went to the nearby dresser, opening the last drawer and searching for something. Curious, Spitfire tried to look inside the drawer, but the white mare stood directly in front of it, her tail shifting heavily and causing Spitfire to follow it, revealing the dripping and tasty marehood of the DJ from time to time. Finally, it seemed like she found the object of her desire, turning and letting the Wonderbolt gasp. The DJ held a small, long object, definitely shaped after a stallion's shaft, but still quite different, with small bands around it. The purpose of those bands were quickly revealed as Vinyl attached it over her marehood, testing its fitting. "Perfect," Vinyl cooed before slowly approaching the yellow Pegasus. Spitfire's heart pumped louder while the white mare came closer, wiping her hips slightly before crawling into the bed. The Wonderbolt still laid on her back, eyes widening on the look in front of her. Vinyl leaned down and gave her an asking look, to which Spitfire gave a quick nod. The DJ quickly licked around her marehood before positioning her hips and targeting Spitfire's dripping marehood with the strap-on. As soon as she was in position, Vinyl leaned in for a kiss while pressing slightly through the yellow mare's labia, slowly pushing the first 2 inches in and causing Spitfire to gasp at the strap-on spreading her marehood. Spitfire moaned out loud as the strap-on stretched her, pushing against every sensitive spot she had. After a few moments, Vinyl hilted the toy inside of Spitfire, stopping for a moment to let the mare adjust. Then Vinyl started moving her hips slowly back and forth, getting into a steady rhythm. Spitfire squirmed slightly from the pleasure, continuing to moan softly underneath the thrusting unicorn. She reached up with a foreleg and pulled Vinyl's muzzle down to her own, pushing her tongue into the unicorn's mouth. Vinyl happily leaned into the kiss, adding her own tongue to the mix as she started to increase the pace of her thrusts, causing the Pegasus below her to moan deeply into the kiss. Spitfire reached a hoof up and rubbed it against Vinyl's horn, making the unicorn moan into the kiss as well. After a few moments, they broke the kiss, panting for breath as they both felt themselves getting closer. Vinyl sped up her thrusts even further, panting heavily as she tried to make Spitfire come again. Spitfire squirmed and moaned loudly from the intense pleasure and stroked Vinyl's horn faster, trying to make the unicorn come with her. Vinyl started moaning louder, as well as the stimulation to her horn started bringing her close. Faster, Vinyl. I'm so close, Spitfire moaned, bucking her hips up against Vinyl's thrusts as she felt herself nearing the edge. Me too. Come with me, Spitz. Vinyl whimpered in reply, speeding up her thrusts as the tip of her horn started to glow slightly. After a few more thrusts, both mares cried out as they reached their peak, Spitfire's walls clamping down around the toy as Vinyl hilted it inside the Pegasus. A bright flash of magic erupted from the unicorn's horn as she came as well, her liquids dripping down onto the bed. As their orgasms ended, Vinyl collapsed onto Spitfire, both of them panting heavily. That was amazing, Vinyl, Spitfire said between each pant for breath, nuzzling the unicorn's cheek. Yeah, you too, Spitz, Vinyl replied and returned the nuzzle before pushing herself up and slowly pulling the toy out, making the Pegasus moan softly again. She crawled off the bed and unstrapped the toy as she wanted to put it back where it came from, but a small pout stopped her. You could at least clean it, Vinyl, or do you want to savor my juices on it? A giggling Spitfire mocked her. Groaning, Vinyl just threw it on the floor beside the dresser before crawling onto the bed again, resting at Spitfire's side. The yellow mare looked at the bunch of white fur next to her, exhausted and tired. I hope this isn't gonna be a one-time thing, Vinyl. It isn't, Spitfire. Trust me. The white mare answered with a yawn before snuggling against the Wonderbolt's soft fur. Smiling, Spitfire unfurled a wing and covered Vinyl, happy to be close to her and looking forward to the future. The last thing she felt before diving into her dreams was a muzzle of the unicorn nuzzling deep into her chest. She hoped they would remember everything the next day.